clouds around, but so far no immediate threat of any rain. There is a thunderhead well off to the east building, but I don't think that's going to be a threat, at least not right now today. There is some severe storms going north in West Virginia, Kentucky. I may get clipped later this afternoon in Roanoke, perhaps. A couple of those storms, maybe. We'll see. We have a very southern edge of this front. So the plan is I'm scheduled to arrive there around 3 p.m. Final stop. They have a big parking lot. Perhaps I will stay there tonight in Roanoke. Don't know. I doubt if I'll get another load out today. So what I had in mind talking a little bit about today is, you know that lately there has been a lot of tornadoes. Many areas of the country. Ohio had some recently. Missouri, a few days ago, got one in Jefferson City. So what causes these tornadoes? Why are we getting so many? It all begins on the West Coast. If we got the storm track coming in at a southerly location off the Pacific, it's going to bring these storms in. They usually have a lot of cold air aloft with them. You know that as we get toward June, the sun angle is so high that it puts a lot of heat at the surface, but if the air is still cold aloft, that air is going to rise up into it, create storms, hail, and even tornadoes. Obviously, to get tornadoes, you have to have severe thunderstorms to spawn them with. This is exit 81. This is a split with I-77. I-77 continues south from here to Charlotte, North Carolina. This road is very crowded today, especially with trucks, all doing their usual 75 miles an hour. So I'm trying to dodge all this stuff right now. Yes, so there has been many tornadoes, and I feel that it's because of this southerly storm track that we're getting. As I talked about, it brought more rain to California, but it's also bringing more severe weather to the middle of the country. These same storms that are bringing rain to California and snow in Sierras are moving east and then wreaking havoc on the weather. Further east with record rainfall, tornadoes, severe thunderstorms. And again, I'm hearing people talk about, well, it's not natural, it's man-made altering of the weather, and I don't agree with that. I just think that people aren't looking back far enough in climatic history to know that these weather patterns existed in the past. It's just we have not seen them in recent times. We have not seen these kind of weather patterns. In 1993, there was flooding on the Mississippi like this year, so the pattern, and that was Panatubo. Around the time Mount Panatubo erupted, we had floods in the Midwest. We had it in 1993, were really bad. And that was the time when global cooling from Panatubo happened. So we're seeing that pattern again this year, flooding in the Midwest, on the Mississippi River again. So that gives us a clue as to what the climate is actually doing right now. We are in a similar pattern to what we saw in 1993 when flooding on that Mississippi River occurred in the Midwest. Tornadoes, again, you have to have severe thunderstorms. You have to have a temperature contrast to get tornadoes. To form the storms that spawn the tornadoes, you have to have a huge temperature contrast in place. Usually by the time we get into June, that contrast is usually lessened. There's not as much cold air. This year there is a lot more cold air, especially aloft, coming in with these low pressure systems. These are generating severe storms as they hit the warm air coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. Without that cold air aloft, you would not be getting these storms. Not be getting as many tornadoes. Of course, to get tornadoes, you have to have a supply of very warm, humid air as well in close proximity. And of course, in June, you're going to have, or late May, you're going to have plenty of that. Only reason there's not as many tornadoes in June usually or late May is because by then usually the cold air is waned enough where you don't have enough of a contrast anymore in temperature to generate these storms. But this year is different. During global cooling scenarios, the tornado season continues well into the summer because, again, these low pressure systems continue tracking south across the USA rather than staying up in Canada. There is a thunderstorm cell developing up ahead of me right now, I may run into for a while, we'll see. This is exit 86, East Lee Highway, Topaz Drive. My exit for Roanoke is 147, so I have another 61 more miles to my exit. So we take that storm developing ahead of me. For that storm to develop, there has to be warm air rising. There has to be cold air aloft for that warm air to rise into. If you look at the top of the cloud, you can clearly see that it's reaching up to the freezing level by the way the clouds look, that they are actually up high enough to where it's below freezing at that cloud top. And that's what creates the precipitation that falls from that cloud. Once it hits that level, the warm air rises, it gets cooled rapidly below freezing. It's going to squeeze all that water right out of it in the form of a heavy downpour or even hail perhaps. And at that level, if it's below freezing, it will create snow that will fall and melt into rain as well. And the colder it is up there, the quicker it happens. The more likelihood there is for hail to fall, the more likely it is for the storm to become severe. If there's wind shear, it will get the storm rotating and that will create a tornado, potentially. I do not believe there's really any threat of tornadoes, at least here, but to the north there is a threat. Up in Pennsylvania, I believe. So perhaps by the time I get to where that storm is, it will have moved on. We'll see. I am heading toward it. So have I ever experienced a tornado? I have never up close. I did see one tornado in 1996 on my Yellowstone trip. On the way back, at the time I was living in Tennessee, and then the way back from Yellowstone, I went up to Glacier National Park in Montana, and then coming back, I took Montana Highway 200 across Montana. In central Montana, we were following a storm front going east. There's an area of heavy rain off in the distance, and then I suddenly saw this funnel come out of the clouds off in the distance. It was like 10 miles away at least. I managed to get a picture of it, pulled over and got a picture of this small tornado. The prairies of Montana, it was kicking up a huge amount of dust. And it only lasted several minutes, and then that was it. It lifted back up, but I watched it. I was under no threat. The tornado was far away. It was not moving toward me. It was moving away from me, actually. So I was safe, far enough away where I wasn't threatened by it. The sun was out where I was. And that's the only time I have ever witnessed a tornado. I almost did in 1976 when I was in Staten Island as a youth. Black cloud moved over. I didn't realize it was going to form a tornado in Bayonne, New Jersey, but it did. And I remember watching the cloud, and the funnel was starting to form pretty close. Coming from that black cloud, and I didn't think it was a tornado, though. I didn't imagine there would ever be a tornado there. And 10 minutes later, they had a warning out. It came down out of that cloud, apparently, that I saw. I did not see the actual tornado from that. Yes, tornadoes can be dramatic, scary experiences. There's times they can be wrapped up in a lot of rain and not really be easily seen, or they can be coming at nighttime when they can't be seen either, obviously. Exit 92, Virginia 658, Draper. My son, I'm trying to remember the year, I think it was 2009 or somewhere in there, got a picture of a tornado without even realizing it in Maine, where we live. He snapped the picture and got a lightning bolt in the picture during a really bad thunderstorm. And we had no idea that there was a tornado there. It was nighttime, we couldn't see the sky. And he developed that picture, and there was a picture of a tornado with a lightning bolt in that picture. It was an incredible photo he got of that small tornado, and it did hit 5 miles away. There were trees down. I believe the tornado, though, went unreported. We didn't know it was a tornado until he got the picture developed, which was like weeks later. But it came out illuminated by the lightning bolt. There was clearly a tornado in that picture. Illuminated. It was incredible. It was one incredible picture. I don't count that as a tornado sighting because I did not actually see it. It was dark. So yes, even in Maine, they can, especially during the summertime, certain times be at risk for tornadoes, especially up in northern Maine. They do get tornadoes occasionally up there. If the atmospheric conditions are right, being up north like they are, if a warm, humid air mass gets up there for a few days and there's a chilly air mass nearby, yeah, it can definitely breed tornadoes up there. That is my experience I personally have had with tornadoes. So far. And now again, I'm bringing this out because many parts of the country have been under threat of tornadoes recently. Been a lot of warnings put out. If a warning is put out, obviously the best thing we can do is seek cover immediately. And when they do put out a warning, it means that there is a storm that has the rotation to produce a tornado, or it may actually be a tornado with that storm already sighted. They can detect tornadoes on radar. They show up very clearly on radar, even before they actually spawn. They will show up on radar even before they actually come out of the cloud. In many cases, so they can put out a warning when they see that pattern on radar. Most of the time, a tornado forms in the southwestern portion of the storm, trailing behind it as it moves northeastward. So that would be the part of the storm to be most worried about. Not true in all cases, but in most, that's where the tornado will usually form. It depends on the direction the storm itself is moving in and how fast it's moving. Another experience I had with a tornado that just popped in my mind was in Tennessee. I think it was back in 1995. In the spring, a tornado came through. I heard it. It made a whooshing noise. It was nighttime. Again, it was dark. We had just gotten a really bad thunderstorm. It seemed like it was about over, and then all of a sudden I heard that noise. The skies cleared up for a few minutes, and then another storm moved in. It could have been part of the same storm system. But this storm came within a few hundred yards of the house. It came over the mountain behind the house, came down close enough to be able to hear it go by, and it hit just down the street and tore up a porch, took out a shed, shredded the roof of the shed, pieces of the roof found miles away. And then it lifted back up over the valley and back up into the cloud. I think it hit the other side of the valley before lifting back up. Did some damage to a few other houses, I think. But it came within a quarter mile of the house. It was dark. Again, it was nighttime. I could not see up in the sky what it looked like, really. How close it actually was. I didn't even know it was really a tornado until the following morning when I saw all the damage down the street. We have 18 miles to Christiansburg, 49 more miles to Roanoke, 13 to Radford. Those are my most direct experience I've had with tornadoes, and yeah, I've had a close call or two there. The tornado that my son got the picture of hit about think it was about 3 or 4 miles away that one hit. It wasn't a huge tornado, but it was enough to take out trees and do some damage. This is exit 101, Virginia 660, Claytor Lake State Park. Claytor, Claytor. So that cell ahead of me continues to build. Looks like it's getting closer. Beginning to see some rain. A lot of it starting to fall. It must be probably about 20-30 miles up ahead of me. Probably is heading for Roanoke right now, I'm sure. So that again is some experiences I shared with tornadoes that I've had in my life up to this point. Hope you found it interesting. I'm probably going to end this video knocking on the door of 30 minutes here. This is exit 105, Radford